Hi, my name is Michelle Learman. I am one of the family partners with StoneBridge Senior Living. Over the years, we have seen a shift in the families that we are taking care of. Not only are we taking care of residents that have congestive heart failure and orthopedic issues, but we have seen an increase in residents that have dementia and Alzheimer's. As life expectancy and the number of baby boomers increases, we are seeing more and more individuals admitted with this diagnosis. This video illustrates real-life people telling real-life challenges so that you know you're not alone.
About 2 years ago, my dad slipped and fell on the ice and had a brain bleed, and he had to actually go into rehab for a few weeks. While he was there, we determined that he wouldn't be able to go home. His memory had gotten a lot worse, and he was a little unsteady on his feet. So initially, he went home with my sister, and you know, it was kind of tough on everybody. He felt like his daughter was sometimes telling him what to do, and that's kind of a role reversal. And everything that she was trying to do for him, sometimes he felt like she was picking on him, and when in fact she just had his best interest at heart. We all decided as a family that it would be best to pursue assisted living. So when we started checking into the prices, we were kind of amazed at how expensive assisted living is. My dad is actually in very good health right now. He's 86 years old, but he takes very little medication. His only issues are with his memory. A little unsteady on his feet, but other than that, he's in really good shape. And so my advice to people would be to do your research, to see what kind of resources are out there, what kind of help. As you go and visit these assisted living facilities or nursing homes, talk with the staff, talk with the social workers. They're there to help. Through this whole experience, what I realized is that I'm not quite sure I'm as ready for retirement as I thought I was. I'm definitely thinking about working a little bit longer just for this reason, making sure I have a lot more saved, possibly even looking into some nursing care or long-term insurance. I ask him all the time how he likes it there. He says, I love it here, this is all I need. The food is great. He has his own independence. So I think as a family, it's worked out the best for all of us.
Well, my mother was an educator for 35 years. She taught over in District 189 in East St. Louis. The changes that happened to my mom were kind of really rapid. It started maybe like 6 years ago. I noticed that she was having troubles with as far as parking her vehicle in the garage, forgetting things, and calling me while she was really upset. So I had had many conversations with her, and she had close friends, and I had conversations with them. She was kind of like distant from me when it first happened because she was in denial. I was very hurt until I learned about the disease of how you're in denial, and I tried to make it better by reading and communicating and talking about it. I learned a lot of things about the Alzheimer's as far as the way you have to speak. I learned how to change her. I learned how to feed her. I would say in some way we are actually closer now that she's in a skilled facility, because me and my aunt, her sister, are the only ones that basically come and visit her. So our relationship has gone stronger. I'm pretty blessed, first of all, because she raised me to be I believe, a good young man. And I always have in my heart is to do the right thing for my mother. So I wanted to let everybody know, if they come in or their relatives or friends or somebody would get sick, to let them know, don't stray away. Give that person what you have. Give them the best of you so they can have the best well-being of living that they can.
I think I can honestly say that I love nursing. I started out as being a teacher, and one of my sisters worked in a nursing home where there were a lot of elderly people. So she would come home with these wonderful stories about how the people would do things in the nursing homes, and I thought they were all funny. And I thought one summer that I would try to go back for nurse's aid. I did. I loved it. 15 years later, I'm still here. I think we look at elderly people with disease processes not like they really have a disease, like there's something wrong. There's always a behavior. But the behaviors are just a process of a disease process. So you get days where everything is funny, and you get days where things are really going wrong. And I think it takes really special people to care for those people. Nursing should never be a profession that you get into because of the money. You're never going to be paid for what you do. You should love what you do. You should love the people. You should love the families that you take care of. For memory care, we don't treat diseases. We don't even treat the patients. You're treating signs and symptoms, but the most things we treat the families. Alzheimer's dementia is very hard on the families. The patients at some point become adjusted and very accustomed to what's going on in their lives, and a lot of times they don't even think about things, but the families are going through a lot. So we don't treat patients, we treat families. We want the families to know that things happen. We can't control every situation. But what we can do is treat those families like they mean something to us, because they do mean something to us. I go to work every single day, and I go home and I carry every resident home with me. I carry their love home with me. I carry them in my spirit every single day, and I genuinely care about their families, and I want them to know that at the end of the day, I've done everything I know how to do to make sure everything is okay with them and with their families as well. I consider it an honor and a privilege to be able to take care of Alzheimer's and dementia patients. Someone has to love those patients, and I think that I have been blessed to be able to come into contact with these families and their loved ones as well.
Well, my husband Art was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia about 2 years ago, and it was confusing. I had never heard of Lewy body dementia, and for them to say that he had dementia didn't make sense. He doesn't have dementia, he has Parkinson's, and that's totally different than dementia. And he's healthy and his mind's just fine, but it wasn't. And then he came home one day and he started yelling in the middle of the living room that he had killed somebody.
My thoughts were, how can I help my father? What do I do to help my father? What do I do to take care of my mother? How do I keep everybody safe?
And he told me to get our granddaughter out of the house, get her out of here, and that scared me. So I called the police. They called an ambulance, and we took him to the hospital. And he spent almost a month in a psychiatric ward.
I like when I play at my ride park, and my mom and dad swing me at the ride park, just one of each.
Prior to all this, Grandpa and Olivia were best friends. Her grandpa would take her for walks up to the park with the dog, and they would go feed the ducks, and he would push her on the swing.
Grandpa never does that anymore because he's sick and he has Lewy body dementia. He never does that anymore. But I remember the time he did. He said, here we go, and he swung me so high, and I loved that day.
She couldn't understand why she couldn't go and see her papa.
When he came out of the hospital, we placed him in a facility really close to our house because I felt he needed to be rehabbed a little bit before he could come home and get stronger. And he stayed there for 3 days, then he went back to a different hospital. And they kept him for a day and sent him home off of all his medications. So he was home for 15 minutes, fell down the stairs, fractured his face, went back to the hospital, and I knew then he couldn't come home.
It was an incredibly tough decision how to figure out what to do. You don't know who you can trust. You don't know who to call.
So I've placed him in a different facility that has a memory care unit, and they've done an awesome job with him. I feel like he needs this 24-hour care, and some days he has really good days, and sometimes he doesn't, but as a whole, he seems confident there. And I trust these guys with the man that I love the most in my whole life.
Sometimes he forgets some stuff, and then he knows it each day. Doesn't. It's like in a pattern.
I wish people would understand that it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to cry, and it's okay to say, oh my gosh, and to doubt yourself. It's all part of life. It's what happens, you know?
You deserve a life too. So make sure that your loved one is taken care of in a place that you feel comfortable, and then get yourself to a place where you can live your life too. There are going to be good days, and then there are going to be bad days. Just embrace the good days and try not to feel so bad about the bad days. That person in your life, in your family, they still love you, and they are still in there.
Like, I know 100% to help him with my family and friends, all together as one. Our hearts raising as one.